Welcome back to my channel, children. Storytime with me. So, for a long period, I was not there. I was a little bit ill. So, from today, I will be uploading stories again. Okay, so let's begin. In a distant village, there lived a little adorable girl. She was loved dearly by her grandmother. Her grandmother had stitched a red bonnet for her. It suited her so well that all the villagers called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother said, "Red Riding Hood, your grandmother is ill. I have baked some cakes for her. They will surely make her feel better. Can you take this food basket to her?" "Mother, I will," replied the little girl politely. "But be careful. Do not talk to any stranger on the way," cautioned her mother. "You should start early tomorrow as you would be crossing the forest." "I will take great care," assured Little Red Riding Hood. The next morning, Little Red Riding Hood prepared to leave. She picked up her basket full of cakes and fruits and took leave of her mother. It was a long journey to her grandmother's house, which was in the middle of the woods. As she was passing through the woods, a sly wolf approached her. Poor Little Red Riding Hood did not know that it was dangerous to talk to wolves. What is the meaning of sly, children? Sly means cunning. Okay? So she saw a cunning wolf in the forest. Now this cunning wolf had evil intentions. He wanted to eat her up. So he went up to Little Red Riding Hood and asked, "Where are you going, my dear?" "My grandmother is ill, and I am going to her with the basket of cakes and fruits," replied Red Riding Hood. "Dear girl, where does your grandmother live? Haven't you seen the rose-covered cottage in the woods? It belongs to my grandmother," said the little girl excitedly. The wolf thought, "Now here is some tasty food for me. But how am I going to catch her, as the woodcutters are nearby?" After a moment he said, "Have you seen the beautiful flowers blossoming
Now this
in the
was
woods?
a clever trick of
Why
the wolf.
don't you take some flowers for your
When
grandmother?"
Little Red Riding
Little
Hood
Red
strayed from
Riding
her
Hood
path,
liked the
the
idea.
wolf rushed to her
She
grandmother's
stopped to collect
cottage.
some fresh
When he
flowers
knocked at
for
the
her
door of the
grandmother.
cottage, a feeble voice called from inside, "Who is it?" Pretending to be Red Riding Hood, the wolf replied, "Little Red Riding Hood, I have brought you some cakes. Open the door for me, Grandma." As the grandmother was old and sick, she told every visitor the secret of opening the door. "Lift the latch," called out the grandmother. "I am too weak to get up." Without saying a word, the wolf lifted the latch. He stepped inside and went straight to the grandmother's bed. Before the grandmother could realize anything, the wolf ate her up. After eating her, he put on her clothes and lay waiting in bed for Little
Meanwhile,
Red Riding
Red
Hood.
Riding Hood had collected a bunch of pretty flowers and she was getting late. When she reached her grandmother's cottage, With hasty steps, she was surprised to find the door open. Grandmother must be really ill, she thought as she rushed inside. Little Red Riding Hood rushed to her grandmother's room. When she came near her bed, she could not believe what she saw. "Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have!" she exclaimed. "To hear you better with, my dear." "What big eyes you have!" "To see you better with, dear." Little Red Riding Hood could feel that something was wrong with her grandmother. She was behaving in the queerest manner which she had never done before. "Maybe the illness is taking its toll," thought Red Riding Hood. She continued astonished. "Oh, but what a terribly big mouth you have! To eat you better with, my dear." Saying this, the wolf bounced off the bed and swallowed Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf had eaten such a grand meal after several days. Feeling contented, he lay down on the bed and soon fell asleep. He was in such a deep slumber that he instantly began snoring. A hunter who was passing by the cottage thought it strange that the old woman should snore so loudly. He was curious and decided to have a look. The hunter entered the cottage. After peeping into all the rooms, finally he saw the huge wolf sleeping peacefully on grandmother's bed with her clothes on. He cried, "What a sly creature! Now it's time for revenge." Just as he was about to kill the wolf, it occurred to him that the wolf might have gulped down the grandmother. For a while, the hunter thought deeply. Instead of killing the wolf, he took a pair of scissors and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. He wanted to rescue the grandmother from the wolf's stomach. He had made only 2 snips when he saw a red cap shining inside the wolf's stomach. The hunter ripped the stomach a little more, and to his surprise, Red Riding Hood sprang out. How dark it was inside! The wolf. "Thanks for saving me," she cried. After her, the grandmother came out too, but she was barely able to breathe. The hunter was very happy. But this was not all. The clever hunter thought that the greedy wolf should be adequately punished. So he filled the wolf's stomach with the large stones before stitching it up. When the wolf woke up, he tried to run away, but the stones were so heavy that he couldn't even walk. He fell down at once and died. It was time to celebrate. Red Riding Hood and grandmother thanked the hunter for saving their lives and also for killing the dangerous wolf. Then they all sat down to enjoy the cakes that Red Riding Hood's mother had sent. Little Red Riding Hood promised her grandmother, I will always listen to mother's advice and will never talk to strangers. So, children, hope you like this story very much. So, now it's time for the question. So, today's question is, when Little Red Riding Hood stepped into her grandmother's house and saw that grandmother is sleeping with big ears and big eyes and also a big mouth, she asked that what a terribly big mouth you have, grandmother. What did the wolf replied? Answer this question, children, and hope you enjoyed this story. Like the video, do subscribe to my channel and wait for my next story session. Hope all of you will stay well and have a great day ahead. Take care. Bye bye.